Why I left, but never left the scriptures. Let me say this first and foremost. I did not leave Christianity because I stopped believing the scriptures. I didn't leave because of offense or church hurt. And I did not leave because I wanted to live a life in complete disobedience. I left because I read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation carefully, slowly, without a pastor in my ear explaining it for me. And what I discovered changed everything. This video is not meant to attack any Christian or anyone of the faith. If anything, it's a plea for honesty. And if you've ever felt something wasn't right, if you've ever noticed hypocrisy, if you've ever wondered why the modern church at times looks nothing like what you read in Scripture, please stay with me. Since 2007, I believed, I trusted, I followed, and I went to church consistently. No matter where my walk was, I listened to sermons, played worship music, and believed the Messiah died for my sins. I believed the Old Testament. I believed the New Covenant. I never questioned why we only gathered on Sundays. I accepted the phrases, not under law, but under grace. And when I had questions, I assumed my pastors knew more than I did and were more righteous than I was. But that became my biggest mistake. Because the Bible does not tell me to blindly trust a system. It tells me to have discernment. It tells me to test everything, 1 Thessalonians 5:21. It honors the Bereans because they searched the scriptures daily to see if what they were told was true, Acts 17:11. And once I stopped outsourcing my conscience and started reading for myself, the discomfort began. I started asking questions that weren't emotional, not symbolic, not vibes, but literal questions. Did Yahushua practice Christianity? Did he tell people to start a religion called Christianity? What did he actually believe? What scriptures did he read? How did he actually live? And that's when it hit me. Christianity as a formal religion did not exist while he walked the earth. So I had to face an uncomfortable reality. If Yahushua never started Christianity, then what did he call people into? And the more I studied his life, the more I realized a lot of what I grew up calling faith looked nothing like him. The turning point wasn't me trying to be different. It was me trying to be faithful to what I was reading. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. What I saw in scripture about Yahushua and the Torah. When I studied the life of Yahushua without denominational filters, I noticed something that shook me. He never taught against Moses. He never taught against the prophets. He never told people the Torah was done away with. He didn't treat the scriptures as a motivational book. He treated them as authority. And I kept running into this statement that I could no longer explain away. Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For assuredly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled. Whoever therefore breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches men so shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:17-19, NKJV. So here's what I had to wrestle with. He tied the permanence of Torah to the permanence of heaven and earth. Last time I checked, heaven and earth are still here. So why was I repeatedly taught that the Torah was irrelevant, replaced, or abolished? Then I saw another pattern. Yahushua didn't only reference Torah, he quoted it, lived it, and used it as the foundation for his teaching. When tempted, he answered from Deuteronomy, Matthew 4:1-11. When asked about the greatest commandments, he answered with Torah, Deuteronomy 6:5, Leviticus 19:18, Matthew 22:37-40. When confronting religious hypocrisy, he called people back to the weightier matters, justice, mercy, and faith, Matthew 23:23. And when I read the words, if you love me, keep my commandments, John 14:15, I had to ask, which commandments did he mean? The ones he grew up with, the ones he quoted, the ones written in the scriptures he affirmed. Not a brand new list built on church culture, but the commandments rooted in the Word. This is where it got real for me. Modern Christianity often treats obedience like legalism and calls rebellion freedom. But Scripture says the opposite. Scripture says the law is holy and the commandment is holy and just and good, Romans 7:12. Scripture says faith does not overthrow Torah, faith establishes it, Romans 3:31. Scripture says we don't get to add or subtract from what the Almighty commanded, Deuteronomy 4:2. Scripture says all Scripture is profitable for doctrine, reproof, correction, and instruction in righteousness, 2 Timothy 3:16-17. So I had to face this. If Yahusha is the example and he honored Torah, why was I trained to dismiss it? Sabbath, tradition, and the moment I couldn't unsee it. Yahusha kept the Sabbath. The apostles kept the Sabbath. Paul kept the Sabbath. And the more I searched, the more obvious it became. There is no verse where the Sabbath is changed to Sunday. Not one. What I found instead was something far more unsettling. Sunday worship didn't come from Scripture, it came from Roman tradition. And once I realized that, I had to make a choice. Tradition or truth.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, with Quaquadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the mighty Aki and Wakwafim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This brother Kawaka. Shalom to the speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharala. This is brother Kawaka coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson, we're going to rehave this. I just saw it. This was just a what's the word, suggested video, and I thought, okay, so let's see, let's check it out and whatnot. And then I thought, okay, you know what, this is pretty relevant in the sense of there are a lot of people that do kind of have that thing where they say, okay, well, I left the Christian church, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to be part of that, whatever, and stuff like that. Or organized religion is the devil, this, that, and the third, X, Y, and Z, where, okay, in some ways I can partially agree, but at the same time, technically, Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. So basically, the true church, that is where 2 or 3 are gathered in the name of Yahawadah, SHAMAIWAN. That is the true church. It's not, the church is not no what's the word? Some temple, all right, or some big building or whatever. All right. It's basically where 2 people, it could be outside, it could be someone's house and whatnot. Okay. And that's where basically camp. That's basically the church. Okay. So as a result of that, you have these people who say, oh yeah, I'm not going to church anymore because this some money, something else, insincerity and stuff like that. Well, yeah, that's fine, that's cool, but what do you do after you make that decision? After you make the decision, when you distance yourself from them, because that is good that you're distancing yourself from, because these pastors, they are pretty manipulative in the sense of they really, yes, you can actually see like what their aim is, and it's for money. They're trying to get your money. Okay, they want to accumulate all that wealth. Say you need to donate $1,000. Look at this. Take scriptures, making you seem like, oh man, like the Lord is gonna. You may give $100, your last $100, that you need for rent. But you know what? The Lord is gonna give you a new $100 for rent and whatnot and stuff like that. X, Y, Z. All right. Well, that's basically how these Christian pastors. But yet, that's what they do. All right. So as a result of that, this is what we're trying to avoid. But yet, it gets to a point where it is unavoidable, and it's unavoidable if you stay in that environment. But because so many people are like, okay, well, I need this, I want that, this and the third. Oh, I need some spiritual guidance and whatnot. Which it's fine to need spiritual guidance, but the prophets have been there, all right. And in all honesty, this being guided spiritually, it all goes back into. I kind of want to say. I mean, there's no real there's no real way to kind of say it or to sugarcoat it, but like it really is just trying to stay. I don't know. It's like there's no you might have life advice. Okay, I'll say you might have life advice, and you might not know like what YAHAWASHI is trying to tell you. All right, but yeah, that's basically how things are, where that's basically how things are, where you want to be you want to find someone that you believe is spiritually sound and is the right person to come to for all your things, as is, by the way, what the Israelites were doing. All right, whenever the Israelites, they didn't know what to do, what they did was they asked YAHAWASHI, or they asked Moses, YAHAWASHI by extension, they asked Moses to ask YAHAWASHI, like, oh, this matters too much for us, X, Y, and Z. We don't know how to handle it and stuff like that. Well, that's the spirit that we always ask. Who do we go to on all that stuff? And unfortunately, I'll admit that we don't really have that luxury to be able to do that right now. But yet, apparently, sometimes we do kind of get into the need for it. All right. So yeah, that was just something I just thought. But even then, it goes back into like the church. Back once again, the church, where when it comes to the church, then that's when we're asking like, YAHAWASHI, please help with this, that, and the third, and whatnot. And it really just goes back into you developing a personal relationship with YAHAWASHI and attempting to be able to hear and seek the proper guidance on your own without being told by someone else, because that's really that should be our main goal, where we are looking for our own guidance and relationship with YAHAWASHI rather than letting someone else tell you what he says. Okay, hence the importance of this Acts 17:11. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, search scriptures daily, whether those things were so. Where you have to search the scriptures daily. Do you know, this is what YAHAWASHI wants, this is what I have to do, this is what the Lord is telling me, all this stuff like that. Well, are you just taking things at a carnal perspective and just like, oh, well, I'm just going to do whatever, I'm just going to ask someone else and whatnot? Well, you're not improving on your own relationship. We all have to be our own priests, if you will, all right, for lack of a better term. We all have to be able to, say, okay, YAHAWASHI expects me to do this or wants me to do that or whatever, rather than just trusting. And that was another thing. Work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, it doesn't say ride up the coattails of someone else. All right. So 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 20, brethren, be not children in understanding, howbeit in malice be ye children, but in understanding be men. Basically, when it comes to understanding the scriptures and YAHAWASHI, be grown men, be brought up. Okay, and the parallel or the parable for this is over here in 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 2. As newborn babes desire the sincere milk, that ye may grow thereby. Basically, growing in the spirit. But as soon as you are brought into this truth, grow in Slakia. So in the spirit, grow in the spirit, grow as a devout follower of YAHAWAH and Yahawashi, rather than staying stagnant in the newborn babe, only drinking the milk, only seeking the milk. Okay, not actually going to gain more understanding from YAHAWAH and Yahawashi. All right, and that's where you have to. That's where this comes into play, where be grown, know more knowledge. All right, but when it comes to the matters of wickedness, then being that newborn baby, be that newborn baby in the sense of I don't know how this works. I don't know anything about how to steal, how to smoke a blunt, and all that stuff like that. Well, that's basically the thing where you should be able to say like, oh, well, I don't have experience in that because I'm not familiar with that. Okay, now some of us do have. I'm not saying me, but some people do have experience in those fields where they do these types of stuff and whatnot. All right, and that's basically where you gotta have to watch out with what you do. All right. Children. And Matthew chapter 5 verse 17, think not that I'm come to destroy the law or the prophets. I'm not come to destroy but to fulfill. Basically, the thing here is, like, once again, it just goes back, which the video did say it. They basically did say how, they stopped with that whole thing of not doing the entirety of, or not following the entirety of YAHAWAH's word. And, that's good to know, but I don't think that they truly and fully understand what that means. Hence my apprehension. And I'm not saying this to say that the video was 100% accurate or good or spot on or anything like that, but just something to take note of and to think about. All right, where sometimes they are able to make certain things, get certain things right. 1 John chapter 4 verse 1, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Yahweh, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. And that's the thing where when you are studying the scriptures more and more, and you're able to understand as you learn, you're able to detect, okay, these people are kind of, and that, I think that's a perfect example of this, where let's say you're watching this video, then you're able to see, okay, what this makes sense, but this doesn't make sense. So this person is, okay, they're getting a lot of things right, but I know because I know the scriptures, or because I'm trying to study scriptures, I know that this has some errors in it that need ironing out. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Shem Yahawashi, Hashem Rakwakwadah, double honors to the elders of the apostles, great meal, son of Adbal, and Shalom.